Let me show you some of the first things that you can do on Xiaomi 15T and 15T Pro right after the initial configuration. So if you do the initial configuration, sometimes we can go to notifications and you should be able to find information about finishing the setup. It can also be visible over here in settings at the top. In my case, I don't have it anymore, but in your case, you might be able to see it. So you can use it in order to go through some of these options that you can also have during the initial configuration, so you pretty much have the second chance in order to do something. However, most of the time we can do these things in settings of the phone as well, so most of the time there's actually no need to go through these options, but feel free to do so. Besides that, what we can do is we can go to settings and we have the system apps updater that we can use in order to check if we have any updates, and most of the time once we turn on our phone for the first time and go through the initial configuration, everything has to be updated because most of the time these apps are out of the date. And we also can, of course, update the system. So if you go to settings, there's a chance that you will see update button over here right next to about phone. So you can do that. So you can just tap over here, or you can go to about phone and tap on the HyperOS text in order to check if there is any new update waiting for you. Besides that, another thing that is of course worth doing is signing into all of your accounts. So we have the Xiaomi account, which might be quite useful if you want to use certain Xiaomi apps. But if you want to add Google apps, for example, like all your Gmail accounts and so on and so forth, then we need to go to additional settings. And then in here we have accounts and sync. And over here we need to tap on add account, and then you can choose Google and sign into your accounts. And yeah. So then, once you have your Google account, we can go to the Play Store, open the Play Store, we can tap on your profile in the upper left corner, and we can go to manage apps and device, and over here we can see if we have any apps waiting for us, which once again, most of the time we do have over here, if we are right after the first setup. So you should be able to choose what you want to update, or of course you can update everything at once. Besides that, of course, Xiaomi unfortunately is known for ads. Many apps that we have over here contain ads in some way or another. So in order to turn them off, first of all, we can go to the Downloads app. Over here we can tap on these three dots in the upper right corner, and we can go to Settings, and over here we can disable recommended content. Besides that, we should also be able to find some other apps. Let me actually try to locate them. We have the MI browser. I believe over here we also have ads. So in the MI browser, we can tap on our profile in the bottom right corner. Then in here we need to tap on the setting icon, and in here we need to find advanced, and in here we can disable show ads. So of course, make sure to do that. Then we're gonna go to the music app. And in this case, of course, if you don't actually turn on the app, then you won't receive any ads. But if you actually do go into here, then what you can do is we can tap on these two lines over here in the upper left corner and go to settings. In here we can disable permanent notifications, then go to advanced settings, and in here we should be able to also, I believe, find something. I'm not sure. Let me just double check that in advanced settings. Okay, so apparently no. We have some morning weather, which we can turn off, but usually in here we can also find an option that can be disabled for ads and recommendations. But in this case, apparently it is not there. Maybe after the update they actually got rid of it. Nevertheless, if you actually find it in here, then of course remember to do so. Now, besides that, we can go to the security app. So let's go over here. Tap on the setting icon. Here we can disable recommendations, and if we go to cleaner, over here we can also find recommendations that we can disable as well. Next, the theme app. In here, go to my account, tap on this setting in the upper right corner, and you can disable ads and recommendations in here. And I believe that's pretty much everything. And sometimes there's also the App Vault app. In my case, I don't have it in here, but if you do have App Vault, then if you open it, you should be able to locate three dots in the upper right corner, if I remember correctly. And then over here, you should be able to go to Manage Services, and most likely you will find some options in there as well that you can disable. Besides that, it is recommended to go through notifications, for example. So if we go to settings and open notifications, and then over here we can go to app notifications, and in here we can disable notifications for these different Xiaomi apps, like for example the music, the themes, and so on and so forth, many different apps, and for which we can disable notifications. I don't want to receive notifications from the browser as well, but yeah, make sure to go through them. Alright, so once we have apps done, another thing that we need to do is of course remove the bloatware. Now in my case I already have some apps installed, but many of these apps that you can see on the screen, like for example the AliExpress, the Facebook, LinkedIn, and so on and so forth, even the Netflix and Opera News and so on, these are apps that are unfortunately pre-installed. So essentially you want to go through the app drawer and you want to get rid of everything that you are sure you will never use. So make sure to do that. So over here I know that I will not be using this app over here, and it was pre-installed for me, so I can of course turn it off uninstall it quite easily. Alright. Next we're gonna go to settings again. This time choose home screen, and in here we should be able to find the system navigation. And in here we can choose between the gestures and buttons, so if you need to switch to one or the other, then of course you can do that over here. And each of these options, each of these system navigation options have additional settings in here below, so you can check that as well. You can also go to arrange items in settings, and this is the list of background apps. By default we have this vertical style, and in here in order to close something we need to swipe to the left or to the right, which might be unintuitive. So you can switch to the horizontal view, and in this case we can just swipe up like this, and I think it's just better. So if you feel like it, of course, switch it up as well. Now, another thing is of course the screen lock. So if we scroll down up here, we should be able to find fingerprints, face data, and screen lock, and you probably want to set them up if you didn't do that during the initial configuration. So you want to go to the screen lock first and set up the password that you wish to use on your phone. Then you can also set up the fingerprint, so you can scan your finger, and you can also use face recognition feature as well. Next, we're gonna go to the lock screen settings, and in here you can find wallpaper carousel, which is a feature that changes the wallpaper on the lock screen every time you go to the lock screen. If you don't like this feature, you can turn it off over here. You can also disable the swipe right option. And if you want to use it, then of course you can turn it on over here, and you can also add your own images on wallpapers that can be used by this app, by this feature over here. Besides that, we're gonna go to battery settings, and in here we should be able to find battery protection, which of course can be set up over here. It is recommended to use some form of battery protection. It's up to you which one you prefer the most. But of course you are never really forced to use them, so if you want to be able to always charge to 100% of the time, to 100% of the battery all the time, then of course you can choose charge fully. But otherwise, like I said, it is recommended to actually enable one of these battery protection options. Next we're gonna go to security and privacy. And in here, if we go to device unlocked, we can find the theft protection. It is worth checking these options out that we have over here. We have the theft detection lock, the offline device lock, remote lock, and the Find Hub, also known previously as Find My Device. So you might want to turn them on and find out how they actually work in here in order to be able to have chances to, to locate your phone in case you lose it or if it gets stolen, for example. Alright, so now we're gonna also go to the app drawer, and over here in app drawer we can customize it a little bit, and I already did that, but you can tap on the setting icon in the upper right corner, and you can disable app suggestions if you don't want to see them. You can also disable categories, and you can also customize the background a little bit, so you can see, for example, the wallpaper that you have on the home screen. And that is essentially it. Now, of course, you can go to the Play Store, let's say, and you can start downloading apps that you need to download that you usually use. You can go to, let's say, the personalization or display and brightness settings, or maybe even sound and vibration in order to personalize your phone. Thanks for watching, leave a like and subscribe.